Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I have probably the craziest story I have ever told anyone. To be very frank with y'all, this was a night I don't think I'll ever forget. And I also want to be respectful of all the parties involved. I'm gonna omit a lot of parts of the story, change names, change possessions, just to keep it as respectful as possible. 'Cause I don't think it's right to necessarily flame anyone for their preferences or actions they've taken. But I also think, dog, I've been keeping this shit close to the chest for damn near 2 years. I feel like it's time I speak on it. Alright, so Jay is going to be featured back on the channel. Jay is my high school best friend, the dude I've been rocking with. We had that 2-man mission featured on the channel. Be sure to include a link on the description below and at the end. We've actually had plenty of 2-man missions, but anyways, Jay had a best friend, well, not a best friend, but he had a close friend named Mark. And Mark, ladies and gentlemen, was a guy I met through Jay. I remember vividly that Mark had a cool car. I'm gonna omit the exact model of the car, but let's just say it was a nice muscle car, and you know, it was fast. I mean, for a stock car, if you're in the 11s, kind of fast. And so, you know, me and Mark ended up vibing hard because he has a fast car, I have a faster car, way faster car, but you know what I'm saying. So we're both gearheads, so we kind of had a cool relationship, man. I gotta say, it wasn't like other friends of Jay that I didn't really fuck with. I did fuck with Mark. And I remember we set up a boys' night out at this club. This club is, how do I describe it to keep it, you know, censored? It's just a chill club where people go to drink, smoke hookah, dance. It's not particularly giant, so I couldn't call it a nightclub because it's not huge, but it's big enough where there's an upstairs, there's a downstairs, there's a VIP section. You know, the bottle girls are dressed provocative. Like, it's that kind of scene, but it's not as big as one may think. It's not small, but it's not big. It's not a proper nightclub. And so we went to the club. We were kind of bored. We were trying to, you know, chill out. By this point, Mark had been a friend of mine for a couple months. And Jay was like, fuck it, let's invite Mark. Me and Jay were drinking at a Bombshells or some shit, and we decided to hang out with Mark. It's been a while since we've seen him. So we end up going to the club, and Mark is, by this point, a respectable younger guy. Me and Jay were, I was at least 26 at the time, and Jay's my age. He's 26 as well. So Mark was maybe 24. He was like 2 years younger than us. And, you know, Mark had a respectable blue-collar job. I'm obviously not going to list the professions, but there's many kinds of blue-collar professions. I'll let y'all connect the dots of what that could look like. He wasn't making, like, ultra bank. He's not going to be a millionaire ever, but he's doing pretty good. For 24, having your own apartment, your own fast car that's... I believe was 2024 or some shit. Like, it was relatively new. Like, you're doing good in life. And so we were kind of just celebrating our work week. I'm not even gonna lie, Jay during that time was bumming it out. So that motherfucker is just celebrating being alive. So, you know, usually it was Mark or me who took up the tab, because Jay wasn't trying too hard with his finances. And at this club, you know, we start buying drinks, and Mark has some demons in his fucking closet, because that motherfucker was drinking like a sailor. And he gets past the point of no return drinking and starts buying everybody in the bar a round of drinks. I believe it was just shots, but still, dude, he starts buying shots for everybody, dude. And by this point, the bartender is already eyeing how drunk Mark is getting. Even though it's good for business, it's not good for everyone else to see this drunk jackass act the way he's acting. And not that he was getting belligerent with anyone, but he was getting louder. He was trying to talk to everyone around the bar. Like, he was just walking around and you know, most people didn't really mind him because he's literally buying us drinks, but, you know, eventually security got involved, and eventually security came to us. So next thing you know, I'm with my 3 boys getting surrounded by a bunch of goons, and, you know, I'm very defensive over my family and friends. So, you know, I get up and I start posturing myself like, motherfucker, we're spending mad money in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. I'm ready to protect the boys. Jay is not a fighter. Mark is not a Mark can't even fucking walk by this point, dog. So I'm like, what's the fucking problem? Like, why are y'all surrounding us? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? And the security guards de-escalate the situation. They kind of take me to the side and they're like, look, man, we're not trying to start shit, but your friend needs to go. The owner of the establishment doesn't want him here anymore. Your friend is too drunk, and you gotta see reason. You gotta admit this motherfucker's too drunk. I'm like, all right, that makes sense, but you know, there's ways to approach us respectfully, and I felt disrespected the way they came on to us. They probably read bitch in Jay's eyes. They saw Mark is no threat, and again, I'm a pretty boy, dude. Most people don't know how, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but most people don't really understand how dangerous a trained fighter is. They don't register it. It's something they don't understand, and I'm extremely defensive over friends and family, dog. Like there's very few scenarios where I immediately jump into ready to throw my fucking life away in a fucking fight type shit. But you know, whenever I'm out with friends and family, I'm just extremely defensive. I just don't let that kind of shit slide. If they're ever in real threat, I'll jump. That's just the way I was raised, man. So fucking sue me if if I'm the bad guy here, but I didn't like how these fucking goons came up so fucking cocky and entitled and pressing me. I'm like, dog, you ain't gonna press shit, bro. You better fucking de-escalate it, take it down a notch, and talk to me like a fucking human. If not, if you want to jump, motherfucker, jump. And I believe I was saying that at one point. Like, if you're trying to jump. Like, fuck it, we could swim. I'll take you to deep waters. And that's when they took me to the side and they're like, nah, chill. We're not trying to do all that. Your friend just has to go. You could stay. We like you. You're alright. You could stay. I'm like, alright. I just didn't like the way you approached me. You could see why I was telling you what I was telling you. They're like, all right, we get it. Maybe we came in too hot, but help us get your friend out. So we had to pay our tabs. Mark was a big G that night. He paid all our tabs. He even paid for my fucking tab, dog. I believe he did. I'm not entirely sure. I'm almost positive he did, but I know he paid for everything he did. And we are no strangers to spending racks on our nights out, but usually when we spend racks, it's usually in a very different setting. He spent like over $600, dog, and most of it wasn't consumed by us. It was consumed by fucking randoms at the bar. And so he ends up paying because, you know, he has to pay, dog. Now he's getting fucked up, and I'm not stepping in. If you don't pay, that ain't my job to back you up. You're in the wrong type shit. And I'll normally back you up even if you're in the wrong, but that's like hella wrong. I'm not backing you up there. So he pays, and we have to carry this motherfucker out of the bar, dude. And Mark is like my height, so he's damn near pushing 6 feet with boots on. So he's like 5'10" and a half, right? But he weighs like 200 pounds too, dog. And I don't know if you've ever had to carry a dude who goes completely limp on you, but it's remarkably difficult, dog. And I'm a strong guy, dude. I could bench over 225, and I'm not saying that's strong, but I'm not a bodybuilder, dude. I don't lift weights like that type shit. That ain't my forte, but this motherfucker was hard to fucking bring out of the bar, bro. So I remember me and Jay were fucking wrapping this dude's arms around our neck, and I'm just thinking like, damn, this motherfucker doesn't even look heavy, dog. But he's actually pretty heavy. We end up putting him in the back seat of his muscle car, and Jay ends up driving his car. I drive my car, and we drive all the way to his apartments. Once we reach his apartment, and fuck, I ain't even gonna lie, dog, I was just dreading having to carry his bitch ass upstairs, because he has to go upstairs in the apartment. And we end up fucking trying to tell him, like, where do you live, dog? Like, we don't actually know which apartment you stay at. And this dude wasn't responding. He looked like he passed out. So I start smacking the shit out of him to try to wake him up. I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, bam, wake up. Bam, wake up. And he finally fucking snapped too. And he seemed like he sobered up significantly since. Not too much, but enough where he was coherent and he helped us walk. He wasn't completely limp. So that was a good thing, because there was, I think there's very, very fucking, dude, I just can't imagine how it would have been to try to pick his ass up and take him up those stairs, dude, because he lived on like the 3rd floor, dog. It just, dude, carrying a limp body is fucking hard, unless you put him over your fucking shoulders type shit. I don't know, maybe if you pick him up military style. But anyways, we end up bring him inside his apartment, and this is where shit, dude, this is where shit goes so wrong, dude. Oh god. And again, I've been really cautious with everything, so I don't think anyone could really trace who's who, but fuck, here's where the story gets real, boys. We take him inside his apartment and we set him down on his couch in the living room. He has a bunch of guns laying around. You gotta remember, Mark is kind of country, so these country boys love their guns. And, you know, Mark is trying to show off his guns. I'm like, fuck no, Jay, keep his ass down. Don't let him get up. I'm gonna fucking disarm these weapons, because they're fucking loaded, dude. So I go over to his Glock, which has a massive extended mag, and I disarm it, right? I fucking eject the clip, and I clear the chamber. And I do that with the rest of his guns. He had I believe he had a shotgun, some kind of pump shotgun, so I just pumped the shit out of it, where all the shells are on the ground. And mind you, I have this on Snapchat, dog. I was recording during the time, because I just couldn't believe how drunk Mark was getting, so I thought it was really funny to record it to show him, like, the next day. So I was recording on my phone, dude. Like, all of this is on video, dog. Literally all of this, dude. He had an AK. The AK was already cleared. It didn't look like it had any bullets in it, but it for sure was a real weapon, dude, because it was mad heavy and shit, and it looked like it only had semi-fire on it. It didn't look like it was full auto, but it's full auto, dude. You need like some crazy credentials. I don't know if it could have been a replica, but I doubt it, dude. That gun felt so fucking real, dude. And like even near the barrel, you could feel like how this shit was shot before. It had gunpowder residue on it. But anyways, I made sure to disarm all his weapons, and you know, Mark was just kind of chilling. He was letting us take pictures, because it's not very often you have a fucking AK in front of you, so everyone's trying to fucking get their their pics going off. And I actually have a sick picture of me holding an AK, man, on my phone, thanks to Mark. But here's where shit hits the fan. Now, mind you, I've only known Mark for like 2 months by this point, and I just think it's the funniest thing in the world, because he has a gaming computer literally right in front of us in the living room, in like a little desk. I just think it's the funniest thing in the world to go over there and check his browser history. Dog, if I tell you that I shouldn't have done that, dog, that would be an understatement. There's a reason why every movie jokes about this. They're like, please clear my browser history before I die type shit. Oh my goodness, dog. Dude, I don't even think I could even say it in a straight face. I usually do all my videos recorded on one run, I think I may have to pause and unpause, dog. Woo. So his computer is plagued with fucking porn, dude. Like, I can't even say that, dude. I'm probably gonna have to edit that out or really lower it. But let's just say there's a lot of corn on the cob. Let's just say, dude, there was so much corn, brother. So many videos, dude, that we were just roasting homeboy. But as I begin to scroll down, you just see more and more and more darker shit he's searching, dude. This dude's a freak, man. But unfortunately, I got down far enough where I think I found I think I found out what kind of shit he likes to watch, brother. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I remember calling Jay over here. I'm like, please tell me that my eyes are failing. This motherfucker was gooning to... Oh god, I can't say. This motherfucker was gooning to... Ah, oh, Jesus, it's hard to say, boys. He's gooning to Transformers. I said it, dog. Yes, bro, you heard right. Transformers. Dog. There are no chicks with dicks, man. I'm just saying, bro. They don't exist, bro. They don't fucking exist. And most of his corn was that, dude. And I end up questioning him because I'm appalled. And again, it's not that I judge anyone type shit, but like what Mark, what are you watching? I tell him, and the dude doesn't even try to deny it, dude. If anything, he tries to say, man, y'all should try something, like y'all should watch it. I'm like, Mark, there is no dimension where I'm watching this shit. What the hell are you talking about? Tell me you're joking. And I wish I could say that was the worst thing to happen, but it fucking wasn't, dude. Oh god. Mark tells us that he... dude, this is so uncomfortable to talk about, dog. This is why I say these videos are therapeutic, man. And maybe the occasional listener will gain something out of it. I hope. Which, the moral of this story is don't check your homeboy's search history. Man. Mark tells us about a mutual friend of Jay and Mark. I barely know him, dude. As a matter of fact, I've never met him in person. I've only heard of stories of him. And what name do I come up from? I don't even remember his real life name, dog. Let me think. I'm gonna have to do 2 takes on this one. So we're gonna go with Jay-Z. I know that's a rapper and shit, but that's the only way I could kind of keep it similar and sort of leveled. I've heard stories of Jay-Z because Jay has told me some funny stories, but I didn't know that was a fucking fruitcake, bro. Oh my god. Mark tells us that one night where Jay, Mark, and Jay-Z were hanging out without me, which fuck you, Jay. But in hindsight, actually, thank you, Jay, for not inviting me that time out. When Jay left, man, Mark and Jay-Z were left alone in Mark's apartment. And they were getting crossfaded, man, on a couple of substances. Nothing too crazy, but let's just say it's just a plant and some booze. And Mark started feeling spicy, let's just say. I don't want this video to get flagged, man. One of my videos got flagged and only has 12 views because YouTube ain't gonna put that out. So I'm trying to be real careful with what I say, but you know, dude, to make a long story short, they went from they did, oh god, what didn't they fucking do, dude? Mark was recounting how him and Jay-Z did some gay ass shit. That's the only way I can put it. I could go into detail and I might share a couple of things that he said, let's just say Mark was the top, Jay-Z was the bottom, and I I asked if that was the first time that's ever happened with him and Jay-Z, and he said yeah, it was the first time, but you know, he blamed it on getting crossfitting, that they both felt a certain kind of way, but Jay-Z is a fruitcake. That dude took it up he took it where the sun doesn't shine, dog. And apparently Mark was dude, Mark was going so hard at Jay-Z that Jay-Z bled, dog. Dude, he was telling us how Jay-Z bled, man. And I think I stopped recording, man. I don't think I have that particular confession on video, dude. Because I don't think you just don't understand how shocked I was, dude. I would have never expected some shit like that, dude. And dude, me and Jay, our mouth is just wide open, dude, at what we're hearing. And by this point, our overreaction of just like being in complete and utter shock and silence made Mark sober up even more, where he realized, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have shared those details. By this point, I'm not even gonna lie, me and Jay felt sick to our stomach. Again, not because there's anything wrong, I guess, with people doing whatever the hell they want to do, but this was just like way too much to take in. Like way too much to take in, dude. So, of course, my morbid ass asked as many questions as I wanted, which is how he went into the detail of how that even goes down, dude. Like, we asked if they ever did it again, and we just eventually I heard enough. I'm like, okay, I got my scoop. I'm traumatized now. I need to go, dog. I need to go. And Mark was sobering up. He was realizing how bad he had fucked up. So we end up leaving him. Me and Jay I'm driving Jay home, and Jay and I are just speechless for like the first, because Mark lives like 45 minutes away from us, from Jay. So I would say during the first 25 minutes, we didn't say a fucking word to each other, dude. We were just complete silence. And then I started trying to tease Mark. Dude, I started trying to tease Jay about how his friends are fucking foodie as hell. How both his friends are, man, if he wants to share something, now's the time to share it. And man, Jay was not having it, dude. Jay didn't even want to joke around. Like, he didn't think any of that was funny, man. I was trying to make fun of the situation to try to lighten up the tone, but Jay was not a happy camper. I ended up taking him home, and we stayed outside his house in the front porch for a while, and we were like, this dude's a fruitcake, dude. Like, holy, like, we just had so much. We had information overload. We just had too much to process. And believe it or not, we would never see Mark again. I never saw Mark again after that day. And I'm like 99% sure Jay never saw Mark again either. You know, after a couple months went by, we were like, we both accepted Mark for what he was. If he's in the closet or whatever, you know what I'm saying? As long as he doesn't try some shit with us, he's good company, man. I like him, dude. I think he's a good friend. I may not agree with his lifestyle, but he was cool. In my book, he was a cool dude, bro. There aren't a lot of dudes that I think are cool in real life. He's one of them. I think he's cool. He has nothing to be... Well, he has a lot to be ashamed for, but again, ashamed to who? Because I remember that we invited him to come drink with us like 4 months down the line, hang out, but the dude was just way too embarrassed about about everything we knew about him, and so we never really saw him again. And you know, this is a shout out to you, my boy Mark. Look, man, if you're a fruitcake, bro, that's on you, dog. I ain't. That doesn't mean that I don't fuck with you. You was still cool in my book, but I'm saying, like, if you just keep that shit on your side of the fence, we cool, man. Like, I digress though. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the most traumatic shit I've heard. I have no more words to say. The moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is, dude, there are wives who marry their husbands and then find out they were fruitcakes all along. There are dudes who marry their wives who find out they've been cheating since day one. Like, a lot of people have a lot of secret shit and skeletons in their closets, and I'd say, let people have their privacy, man. Let people have their secrets. Knowing everything may not be the most optimal way to live your life. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you can kind of snoop on your homeboy, your homegirl, sometimes you're not ready for the truth. Sometimes you don't want to know the truth. So where you search, you'll find, dog. And in this particular case, if we had to nitpick it to one lesson, is don't look at the browser history of your friends, ladies and gentlemen. This has been your host with the most, signing out. And for you cheap fucks who watch my videos and don't even like it or comment, fuck y'all. I also have a discount code at the bottom of the description. Buy yourself a chin mount from Moto. They're way better than just chin mounts. Chin mounts fucking failed on me, but I'm gonna be making a video about that later. Peace, deuces.